Yeah. He always does a really
fan.
good job. Thomas Jane he's a good character actor, and I think if he had bigger vehicles to go behind, I think he'd do really good.
I know that he had, of course, the successful show on HBO, Hung.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that. I've seen a couple episodes. Wasn't really my gig. But I know that it was uber popular when it was out. Like it was multiple seasons.
Yeah. I think they went like 6 seasons or something like that. That's crazy.
I feel like if you get 6 seasons on an HBO show, something's going right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. New to Hulu this month, Mission Impossible Fallout's coming out, which I thought was a great movie too. That was, they've picked up so much since part 2 in the Mission Impossible movies, and I've seen them all. I've seen them when they came out. 2 I liked because it was John Woo, but I
think that was the last one I saw.
Oh man!
No, I think I saw one. I couldn't tell you the name of the other one I saw. It just like on a day it was on TV or
Mission Impossible 3 really does kind of open it up. Mission Impossible 4, 5.
Well, I know I'll get chastised for that because they're uber popular.
Yeah,
and what I've seen was good. The Woo one was, of course, a Woo one, so it was very John Woo, very like let's battle
John
on
Woo.
motorcycles. And,
yeah. How are we gonna do spins on a ninja motorcycle? Not cool. That was a really good movie. If you get a chance to watch that,
shout out to I believe it was the Pimps, which we've talked about on here before, out of Illinois.
Yeah,
they actually were almost got the lead song for that movie, but Metallica ended up taking a bigger name.
Of course. Who's going to stop Metallica?
Right.
That's a money-making machine.
But I believe they are on that soundtrack, actually.
That's
like
cool.
On another song.
Hell yeah. New on Amazon, Poltergeist 2. Did you ever watch Poltergeist 2? Love that movie, too. I like how...
I mean, who doesn't like that weird preacher guy?
Yeah, it's so crazy.
He's a creep.
The scenes where they show them underground and they're all, they close up the deal and everybody's like screaming and everybody's having their revival under the ground and stuff. Oh, it's fucking freaky.
I think the part that stands out the most to me was the tequila worm.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. There was some good ones in that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a cool continuation. Poltergeist 3, not so much. And that might be blasphemy for a lot of people, but Poltergeist 2, I have spent a lot of time watching that one. Just
1
because
and 2
it's
I've
just
seen
crazy.
a lot.
Yeah.
Not that new piece of shit.
Of course, I've been watching a lot of Shudder here lately, too, because I know I'm used to Hulu, Netflix, and you're overstimulated with so much information that's on there that it's hard to pick something, you know what I mean?
Sure.
You can pick something, but then you got to please everybody else in the room.
That's right.
So it's like, oh yeah, I'll watch that one again, but I think Shudder has got some cool content on it. This month they what they showed is all the Nightmare on Elm Street series is going to be on there.
Okay.
Plus they have a documentary, the Elm Street Saga or the Elm Street Legacy, because they did the Crystal Lake Saga, and I've been watching that one on and off every other night just to kind of see. Corey Feldman's hosting it, so they go through the history of Friday the 13th, which they do with the Elm Street Legacy too, which is pretty cool. And then Chopping Mall is coming. And now Chopping Mall is such a cheesy fucking 80s dated movie, and we talked about that on our other podcast, but I think it's worth a watch just for the sheer cheese of it.
Oh, there's a ton of movies that I love just for the cheese.
Yes.
So that's okay.
Yeah. It is robots on different levels and they can't outrun them. It's the premise is weird.
Yeah.
But it's pretty awesome. I did watch a movie that I had never seen before. It's got George C. Scott in it. It was one of the Shudder Essentials. It's called The Changeling. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I've heard of it, actually.
It's actually...
I don't know that I've seen it.
You know how we were talking about haven't really been scared in a movie for a long time?
Right.
I wasn't scared in this movie. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that it did have some parts that were legitimately could be very, very scary to some people. I think it's, of course, if you haven't ever seen it, it's basically about a guy that loses his family to a horrific accident, and he's a composer, and he actually moves into this house. It's based on a true story from what I understand too, out of actually Denver, which is crazy. Yeah. Really? They bulldozed the house, so it's no longer standing, but it's an older house, and the house is being possessed by, I
actually know this story. Yes.
Yeah, about a spirit. Yeah. Yep. And it's kind of, the illusions that they have in it and the things that they show, like at one point there's a wheelchair following some chick and it's chasing her down the stairs. It's just crazy. The one thing that stands out is this one part that he has a ball from his daughter and he has it in this little desk thing, but then he's sitting there in this room and he wakes up and then he hears this sound, boom, and it's coming you know what it is. You're like, oh, it's a fucking ball, but it's going down this giant staircase, and just the sheer amount of just like, what the fuck? And he reacts like somebody would react in the 60s and 70s. No shit. Like he's totally 100% George C. Scott. I'm a fucking man. Watch the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like he's not freaked out. There's loud noises that happen at a certain time.
That's because the only time they saw horror movies when he was younger, it was like Universal Studios movies, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but what I think is really funny about
he hasn't seen The Strangers.
Yeah. What I think is really funny about it is he's like, in the movie, he looks like he's 65, right?
Oh, I'm sure. He's George C. Scott. Didn't he always look like he was 65?
Right? Except for in Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah,
he was a little young in that one.
Yeah, for sure.
But I looked at my wife and I was like, how do you think he is in this? You know, because he's got a young wife and a young daughter, and she was like probably 38. That's how everybody looked back then.
Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
funny. And we were just thinking, oh my God. And all these young women, there's another woman that kind of he falls in love with too. It's a good movie as far as a genre movie goes, is the haunted house type of spirit type of a deal. Really cool.
Excellent.
And there was another one that I watched that's called Take Cover. Hey, virus and threat protection. See fewer notifications. Yes, I will. Take Cover is
that sounds really familiar.
It is such a great movie. It's about a guy that has these premonitions, that he has these weird visions. There's a lot of Jessica Chastain is in it.
Okay.
There is the main dude. He was on the movie about the creature from the Black Lagoon falling in love with the woman that won the Oscar.
Yeah, the girl, the fish sex. Yeah.
Yeah. He was the main bad guy in that one, but he's the good guy in this one. So he starts having these visions at the very beginning of the movie where it's like this weird oil is kind of like raining down from the sky, and he sees these tornadoes in the background, and it's this weird, and it starts really slow, and it kind of happens over the course of like maybe 2-3 weeks or something like that. It's not that long. So he starts thinking that he's going crazy. These visions get stronger. At one point, the dog attacks him. At one point, his wife attacks him. One point, all of these things happen. His buddy attacks him, so he tries to distance himself from everybody, right? Well, at one point, he kind of freaks out. And everybody's like, oh, man, this guy's losing it, blah, blah, blah. He's lost his job, all this other shit.
This is the movie where he builds the shelter, right?
Yeah, the shelter is underground.
Uh-huh.
He kind of uses the equipment and he gets fired for it, which is kind of shitty.
I semi-remember this movie, and I don't know that I saw it all. But
as something that came out not too long ago.
2011, I think?
Yeah, it was a great movie.
Right on.
I really did watch it.
I'll have to revisit that. I mean, it sounds good enough to watch again.
Let me see who the actual
Michael Shannon was the
main guy. Yeah, he's always done some pretty good movies so far.
What was the name of the fish sex movie?
I don't know. Fish Sex 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Academy Award nominee.
The creature from the Black Lagoon meets his love in Hellboy 4.
No hate on it because I've never seen it.
No, that one's actually a decent movie too. Yeah. But yeah, the Shudder has. I continually just flip through it and I find something like Brain Damage or anything like that, and I'm like, oh, it's been a long time. I'm gonna watch that one again. You know what I mean? As far as like new music comes out, I've really been kind of going back to the older stuff here lately. The last big thing that I was really happy for was that Imperial Teen CD, and it hasn't let me down. But as far as anything else, I'm looking forward to the Stones coming up too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we're actually going to go see the Rolling Stones.
Absolutely.
Probably
next Saturday, correct?
Yeah, it's going to be the biggest nosebleed section.
That's cool.
But it's going to be the Rolling Stones in Mile High.
Yeah.
So it's actually going to be a pretty cool show.
Absolutely.
If you get a chance to see the Rolling Stones, are you not going to go?
Exactly.
Come on, why
exactly.
not? You know,
might as well do it now.
Yeah. Well, he already had a heart attack this year. That's why they pushed it back. It was going to be a little bit earlier.
But I know he has like a trainer, a nutritionist, all that stuff. He like runs like 12 miles a day or something like that, they said, or walks maybe. I don't know.
They showed yeah, I know, right? They showed him shadow dancing the other day, and I was like, "Yep, he's back." What did I was doing my Mick Jagger impression today at work. And I said, you know what, guys? I think I'm going to start a cover band called the Fat Jaggers.
Nice.
And all of us be overweight Rolling Stones. You know what I mean? And then we can have like an overweight, like the Fat Eagles, and actually it's like every middle-aged dad band kind of a deal. And then we all get together and just play cover songs.
Nice.
But
nice.
we're acting like we're playing, but we have the karaoke going. Because we're too lazy to learn how to play the songs, or it's just one song.
I think we could totally do some Stone songs.
Yeah,
dude.
we could do Fat Jagger.
Yeah,
everybody like Fat Jagger. We got to see this one, and it would just be nothing but like cougars and shit like that.
Yeah,
there.
of course, right?
We're like, what the hell's going on? Is it fucking tequila night?
We'll be opening. Our opening band will be the Cougar Catchers.
Yeah, they just do 80s covers of
Cougar Hunters.
Yeah, the Cougar Hunters. This is our opening, and it would just be us in different outfit.
Yeah. Perfect.
That would be funny.
We'll just do 80s covers. Yeah, that's perfect, man.
That would be awesome. Is there anything you've been watching, though, lately on streaming TV? Anything?
Honestly, not a lot of time for that. From our last QuickCast, like I said, I was in Dallas doing some, regular job stuff. Right. Unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, but I mean, not anything to do with the podcast.
Yeah.
No. So not really. Been reading some stuff, but
I've been reading the Gideon Falls
nice.
that Tyson was recommending to us. It's actually pretty good. I've slowed down a little bit down on reading the comic books this week. Really, I think just looking forward to the next Immortal Hulk, which I pretty much completed my collection. Just need an issue 2. If anybody wants to send me that'd be thank you very much. And then I have them all. Great.
If you send, I'll tell you what. You send him an issue 2. I'll send you an issue 1.
Oh, if you could find one.
I've got one.
Do you have issue 1?
Yeah.
Is it a variant?
I think so.
Nice. I got all the first editions.
Nice.
I worked my butt off for that.
that really was the only comic I've been keeping up with really is which we've talked about a ton is Silver Surfer Black.
Yeah.
I did pick up the House of X. I think we talked about that last week.
How is that one?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we talked about it last week a little bit.
A little bit.
Definitely setting a different tone for what the X-Men will do over the next probably decade. And I'm glad because been out of comics for quite a while, getting back into it, but I've had no desire to read any of the X-Men stuff because it's so convoluted.
Right.
And it's kind of interesting to see it go in a different direction. I feel like it's a good place to probably pick up if you're interested at all.
Yeah.
There'll be multiple titles coming out, but right now, like House of X and Powers of X, which I believe comes out next week.
Nice.
This week.
Nice.
When this posts.
Yeah.
But I think that those are going to kind of set the tone for where they're going to go, and then you'll have those other branching out normal titles.
Nice. Yeah, I still read at least one Spectre a day.
Nice.
In that
on
92
the
series.
DC app.
Yeah. And that series, they even had a OJ throwback.
Nice.
For real. Like they were even in a white Bronco on it. I was like, what the fuck? They
were
very, very, very I guess current events on that comic, which is cool.
Absolutely. I've been actually rereading Stephen King's Dr. Sleep. Because I know that movie's getting ready to come out.
Yeah. Which I visited the Stanley the other day. And I remember my wife being like, I got tickets to the Stanley. I'm like, cool. You know what's coming out? And I showed her the preview and we were like, yeah. It's a good time to go up there. Podcasts. You listen to any new podcasts?
Nothing overly new. some of the same stuff that we've been talking about, the Not For Everyone podcast.
Not For Everyone, still ripping and tearing.
I know, so I've been listening to these guys for a little bit. It's called the Dynamic Duel podcast. I know we spoke about it in the past a little bit. And they're two brothers out of Denver, Marvelous Joe and Johnny DC.
Nice.
And they're very biased. One really loves Marvel. The other one really loves DC. And they do some movie reviews, like of